Tippy time my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm sure many of you Titan mains out there are missing the power of the Consecration Slam and its mighty ignitions. They might have seen several nerfs over the last year, but let's face it, they were pretty stupidly strong. But Bungie has buffed our ignitions in one region. If you are all about that ignition game, the one exotic you absolutely need in your life right now is the Path of the Burning Steps. These have got several key perks that are going to shine this season. The perk is Firewalker. They increase the damage of our solar weapons and solar ignitions based on the amount of Roaring Flame stacks we have. Additionally, what makes them a key part of this season is that we are harder to suspend, slow and freeze. I tend to run a lot of encounters with that chill touch negative multiplier on. You can easily get gang pumped just by one scratch of a thrall, but we actually receive less slow stacks and break faster because of these burning steps. Same goes with suspension, so taking on the darkness with these booties becomes much safer. With roaring flames, our final blows with our solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of our solar abilities. This stacks up to 3 times and in some cases will double our ability strength. With the burning steps on, it's also going to increase our weapon damage and most importantly that ignition damage. So this solar titan is going to be the king of magma. My mate Faker put me onto this build initially, but it required some fine tuning in order to get it to work at that negative 40 bracket. This kit is a super spam simulator, built to destroy wave after wave of enemies. So I've got 3 pieces of Paragon, 1 gunner, as our weapons are also boosted, and I've got 1 piece brawler to boost both my melee and that important health stat. This gives me roughly 4 stats at that 100 odd plus. This gives us health back on those orb pickups and quick turnarounds on those melees, grenades and supers with slight damage boosts to boot. The stat we are sacrificing from is our class ability, but we don't need a shield when we're pushing forwards. You're going to want to pick your favorite legendary solar weapon in that energy slot, whether that be a Stars and Shadow, Year-Tide Apex, the Spread Shot hand can shotgun, or a Turn Memory. Completely up to you. Most of the time I'm running the Char. I rock mine with Burning Ambition to Scorch purely by laying bullets into their faces. In order to get the most solid damage out of this as possible, we're going to be rocking Fever and Chill, so our rapid precision hits from our solar weapons make us radiant. Then with Radiant Shrapnel, it's just going to allow us to puke out even more scorch damage to the surrounding foes. This will often burn them out, in turn making fire sprites. We pick up these, and Elemental Overdrive is going to grant us further bonus damage to our solar weapons. Now our base Stars and Shadow damage here, including that seasonal bonus, hits for 109 crit, but between the weapon damage bonus, Path of the Burning Steps, Radiant, Elemental Overdrive, we are now hitting for 161 per crit. That's a 48% weapon damage bonus, and we're not even touching surges. Now the absolute king weapon to run with this kit is the Dragon's Breath rocket launcher. This now has built-in unstop. Whenever it creates ignitions, it tops up that fuel. This goes towards our next rocket, allowing us to daisy chain higher damage, as well as creating an auto-loading feature. In these negative 40 onslaught runs I was doing here, my Solar 3.0 kit had to go up against Arc match game shields, but if you just chuck enough lava out there, all those bad dudes are gonna snap, crackle and pop. I imagine with the introduction of Portal, amongst the fire team bonuses to our loot that we're getting in Ash and Iron, we're going to be running modes like our Onslaught and Coil more regularly, so having a wave-based air clear kit like this one will be great to have in your repertoire. As this rocket creates ignitions, these count as solar ability kills, so we can create sunspots thanks to the Sol Invictus aspect. Our solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeating scorched targets can create sunspots. Our abilities regenerate faster, and our super drains more slowly while standing in these sunspots, and the sunspots are going to scorch enemies whilst dealing damage, and if we walk inside, we gain restoration. I've opted to use the Hammer Strike over the Bonk Hammer. Whilst Bonk is constant and it heals, Hammer Strike offers us more explosive damage. It scorches targets that we hit, and if we defeat a target with our Hammer Strike, it'll ignite them. That being said, it's not the ability that we're going to be leaning on to fuel this kit. I've linked into that grenade. I would opt for either the Thermite or the Incendiary grenade. You'll get the Thermite slightly more often, but the Incendiary does a better job of getting your Roaring Flame stacks up because it offers us a high yield of Scorch stacks. I'm running one grenade font. This will increase our grenade damage output by a further 20%. I've got Ashes to Assets mod on my helmet, so we gain bonus super energy off the back of our grenade kills, and a firepower mod on my gauntlets to make an orb of power back after those kills. Now in the past I've spoken quite ill of the Hammer of Soul, I'm not gonna lie. If you don't set it up properly, it is one of the weakest supers out there, but with the Path of the Burning Steps and their bonus ignition damage, the Soul is now a magma monster. Upon impact, these hammers shatter into explosive molten shards. They'll be creating sunspots through Invictus. I'm running one super font on my helmet to push up our super damage another 16%. Whilst this doesn't sound like a lot, it will help in that harder content. It's one of those things. This super feels natural as at neg 25 as it just destroys ads very easily. But then we move up to like that negative 40 bracket, and all we need to do is just push that super up a smidge in order to make it work, and boy does it work. We're going to be using Ember of Combustions, so our final blows with our solar super cause targets to ignite. This also gives us plus 10 melee and creates more fire sprites. It's honestly quite ridiculous how many ads we can destroy with this super. With the combination of that 100 plus stat, the fact this is a roaming super so it's naturally got a quick cooldown now, and the amount of dot damage created by the Dragon's Breath, you can sometimes like blink and then you've got another super back and you're like, what? How the hell did that just happen? We've got Ember of Eruptions, so our ignitions have a 25% larger area of effect, and we pair this with Char, so every ignition spreads a further 40 Scorch stacks to those targets. Between this and those sunspots, you'll be able to daisy chain the battlefield with ease. The biggest issue I had when adapting my friend Faker's kit and try and make it my own was the healing factor, as we do pack a lot of explosives damage into this kit in order to make it work and keep those Roaring Flame stacks up high. But if you're gonna play aggressive, you also need to heal aggressive. It's one of the reasons I really decided to push up my health nice and high. I run a Harmonic Siphon on my helmet to make an orb of power off the back of my solar weapon kills, with one recuperation mod on my legs to replenish our health. I've got a 4-piece Solstice set here, so our rapid solar final blows are going to heal us. Our solar weapons have increased flinch resistance, better handling, and reload speed. The deciding factor that made this kit work for me at negative 40 was Ember of Mercy. When we revive an ally, we're both going to get restoration, but more importantly, every time we pick up a fire sprite, we are granted restoration. So now we're able to heal both from our sunspots and those fire sprites and those orbs and our ability kills. As our super makes like 10,000 of these sprites, and honestly so too does our Dragon's Breath and our primaries, thanks to the Elemental Coalition's perk in the artifact, we have an endless supply of healing littered amongst the battlefield. Now feel free to pause here for all my mods, fragments and artifacts, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. Shout out to Faker for doing the legwork for this one. Its niche is wave-based ad clear for sure, but it is also a solid bet if you're having to face a lot of stasis and strand wielding enemies. If you've missed the destructive power of the Consecration, please give this build a go. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy time damies, what a time.